This wasn't the first time I'd found things belonging to a strange man. My own clothes had also been disturbed. I asked my brother-in-law to be Ethan about it. He said the items weren't his and he hadn't touched my clothes. Every time I confronted my wife Victoria, asking if another man had been over, she would have an explosive reaction. It's just a few small things. What does that prove? You're going to accuse me of cheating over this? You're the one who went through your clothes. You're probably just losing your mind and can't remember. Each time she would vehemently deny it, and I never had any concrete proof, so the matter would be dropped. Until one day, I found a used condom, still containing fluid, in the pocket of a jacket in my closet. I was furious. I grabbed the jacket and threw it in her face. The evidence was undeniable. Let's see you talk your way out of this one. My wife, Victoria Blackwood, looked at the item in the pocket, her brow furrowed. Honey, what is this? How did this get here? And in your jacket, of all places. Her bewildered expression, her helpless look. It almost didn't seem like an act. Still pretending, I seethed. You've been letting other men wear my clothes, haven't you? And all those other things I found before, those were things they forgot to take with them after you brought them home to fool around, right? That's not true, Victoria said, alarmed. I swear, I have never brought another man home. My sister-in-law, Isabel, chimed in from the side. The filthy thing was in your jacket. What right do you have to frame my sister? I froze for a moment. This wasn't the first time they'd teamed up like this. Victoria pointed a finger at my nose and yelled, This isn't the first or second time you've wrongly accused me. All you do is look for trouble, making me a laughingstock for the neighbors. Victoria and I had been madly in love for 4 years in college. I was a love-struck fool. I gave up my status as the heir to the Walker fortune, even cutting off all contact with my family, to marry her right after graduation. Her parents had passed away long ago, and she always said a big sister is like a mother, so she brought her unmarried younger sister Isabel to live with us. I had even used my connections to find jobs for both of them, but the longer we all lived together, the more she changed. I couldn't remember the last time she'd let me touch her, yet I still foolishly held on to the hope that the gentle woman I fell in love with would return. Isabel's accusations grew more outrageous. For all we know, you're the one messing around and trying to pin the blame on her. What did you say? I trembled with rage. Victoria heard this slander but said nothing to defend me. Fine. You won't admit it, right? Tomorrow, I'm taking this to a lab for a DNA test. We'll see whose it is. Then a flicker of panic crossed Victoria's face, but she quickly composed herself. Test it, then it has nothing to do with me, so it will prove my innocence. Her attitude was so nonchalant that the doubt in my heart wavered. Could it really not be her? Then it's settled, I said, picking up the jacket. I'm going to the lab tomorrow. Victoria reached out as if to snatch the jacket back, but pulled her hand back halfway. The movement was small, but I saw it as clear as day. Just then the doorbell rang. It was Isabel's fiancé, Ethan Thompson. They had been dating for nearly a year and were planning to get married. He was here tonight to discuss the engagement party. I forced myself to swallow my anger. I'd wait for the DNA results. I was distracted throughout dinner, my gaze unintentionally drifting to Victoria. When I looked, I froze. The way Victoria was looking at Ethan, how to describe it? There was a coy, almost flirtatious quality to it. It was very strange. Victoria even took the initiative to put food on Ethan's plate, a courtesy she never extended to me. Was I overthinking it? That look, that level of care. It was just so wrong. As we were eating, Victoria put down her chopsticks and changed the subject. Now that Izzy is getting married, I don't have much to give her as her big sister. So, I'll just sign this apartment over to you as your dowry. The chopsticks nearly fell from my hand. What? You're giving away my apartment as a dowry? Are you insane, or am I? Isabel's eyes lit up and she clapped her hands excitedly. Really, sis? You're the best. No. I frowned. The apartment is mine. I don't agree, Isabel sneered. You can't have children anyway, so what's the use of you holding on to it? My sister promised me a long time ago that she'd give me this apartment when I got married. What's yours is my sister's, and what's my sister's is mine. We'll do what we want with it." Her words were like a dagger to the heart. It was true that Victoria had never gotten pregnant after we married, and eventually we stopped sleeping together. I shot to my feet. "I don't care what you do with your own things, but I bought this apartment before we were married, and you have no right to give it away." Victoria's face flushed. "If we were to split our assets, I'd be entitled to one of our 2 houses, so I get to decide what happens to this one besides. You still have that house in the suburbs. We can just move back there. It's not like we'll be homeless." Ethan's face lit up with joy. Izzy and I were just worrying about a place to live. "Well, it would be rude to refuse. Thank you, Vicky. Why don't we sign a transfer agreement right now?" "A verbal promise isn't enough without a second thought," Victoria said. "No problem. E-boy, you just write it up." I stared at her, my heart turning to ice. "Victoria, do you hear yourself?" Victoria grabbed my hand. "By the way, you'll handle the title transfer for Izzy after the engagement party. You have to go, whether you want to or not." "We need to get Izzy's dowry ready," Isabel chimed in. "My sister has already agreed to the transfer. If you dare to disobey her, I'll have her divorce you staring at these lunatics." I threw down my chopsticks and went back to my room. "Get out as soon as you're done eating." "You want the house?" Not a chance in hell. From behind me, I could still hear Ethan complaining. "It's clearly Vicky's apartment. Why does her husband have such a bad temper? To catch a thief, you need proof." The next day, I took the condom to be tested and had some other tests done for myself as well. When I got home, I heard strange noises coming from the bedroom. I quietly pushed the door open a crack. Victoria was pulling an unopened box of condoms from a hidden compartment in the closet. She was dressed to the nines, applying lipstick. No wonder my clothes were always disturbed. Who was she meeting? I quickly took out my phone and started recording. Victoria struck a few poses in front of the mirror, nodding in satisfaction. Just then, I noticed she'd left her phone on the coffee table, the screen still lit and unlocked. It was open to a secondary chat account I never knew she had. The chat window prominently displayed a private conversation between her and Ethan Thompson. "E-boy, you're so handsome. Can I call you my dear little brother? Vicky, you're so sweet. I'm so lucky to have a big sister like you." The conversation grew more and more intimate. Victoria had even sent him photos of her legs in stockings. "Dear little brother, want to try something different today? Vicky, your body is amazing. I really want to touch the real you." My vision went black, and I almost collapsed. So Victoria really was cheating, and with Ethan of all people. Then I saw that she had chat logs with countless other men. Without exception, they all involved her wearing revealing clothes and striking seductive poses, flirting shamelessly. Ding! A notification for a photo memory popped up on her phone. I almost threw up. Her entire photo album was filled with intimate photos and videos with different men. I never imagined she could be so disgusting. I heard Victoria getting ready to come out, so I quickly put the phone back where it was and hid. Caked in makeup, Victoria picked up her phone and walked out. Once she was gone, I followed, keeping a safe distance. As I tailed her, I had already dialed my father's number. I never thought I'd make this call, but after all these years, my father, Harrison Walker, answered instantly. Harrison had always been waiting for my call. His voice was filled with joy. Sincere. Hearing my father's voice, I took a deep breath. "Dad." He became anxious. "Son, what's wrong? What happened?" I was silent for a long moment. "Dad, you were right. Victoria isn't worth it." "What?" My father's stern voice was laced with worry. "What exactly happened? Tell me everything, slowly." I told him everything about Victoria's affair and how she and her sister were trying to steal my apartment. "Those animals," my father seethed. "They messed with my son. I'll make every single one of them pay, don't worry, Sincere. I will be at their engagement party." Afterward, I suppressed my nausea, feeling a thrill of vengeful satisfaction. At their engagement party, I was going to give them a very special gift. I would humiliate their shameless family so thoroughly they would never be able to show their faces in public again. Isabel's engagement party took place as scheduled, with all their friends and relatives in attendance. I looked at the list of dowry gifts. On it was written in bold letters, "Gift from her sister, Victoria Blackwood, 1 downtown apartment." They actually had the nerve to write it down. After our argument that night, Victoria had hidden my property deed. "I'll hold on to the deed for safekeeping. You won't find it. I'll take it out when it's time for the transfer, so don't try any funny business. Pack your things over the next few days. We'll be moving to the suburbs together. And don't you dare make a scene at the engagement party." I had lost all hope for her. Besides, I could always get the deed reissued. I couldn't be bothered to argue with her. Halfway through the party, the MC took the microphone. "And now, let's take a look back at the new couple's sweet journey of love." The large screen lit up, playing a slideshow of Isabel and Ethan's relationship. The guests cooed with praise. What a perfect match, the handsome groom and the beautiful bride. They're a match made in heaven. Just then, the screen flickered and the image changed. The sound of heavy breathing filled the room, enough to make anyone blush. A heavily made-up woman and Ethan were locked in a passionate kiss. Ethan's hands were all over the woman. "You smell so good. You make my blood boil." Then his zipper was pulled down, and the woman expertly lowered her head. Screams erupted from the crowd. "Oh my God, what is going on? The groom is disgusting, help me." Isabel was instantly enraged. She lunged at Ethan, beating him furiously. "How dare you cheat on me?" she shrieked. "Bring me that woman, I'll kill her." Ethan was still in shock. Why? How did this get filmed? The screen flickered again. This time it showed Victoria applying heavy makeup and then leaving her house. Ethan popped out from around a corner, exclaiming excitedly, "Vicky, you look so beautiful today." Victoria lowered her head shyly, gently patting Ethan's chest. Boy, you're so handsome, you really are." At that moment, the color drained from Victoria's face. She shot up from her chair. Turn it off, now what is this?" Isabel's face turned pale as well. Ethan finally understood what was happening. He jumped up and down in a panic. "Pull the plug, someone pull the plug." Isabel's hands dropped from Ethan. She stared blankly. "Sis, what is going on?" Everyone in the room had already realized that Victoria's makeup in this video was identical to the woman's in the previous one. "Hey? Is that Victoria?" "Yes, and that's their house. I'm going to be sick." I had no idea she had this kind of fetish. The video continued to play. Victoria and Ethan walked hand in hand into a clothing store and went straight to a changing room. The door closed and the camera zoomed in on the gap. Rustling sounds could be heard from inside. Victoria's voice, husky and seductive, purred, "You smell so manly. Something's getting hard. Vicky, you have to help me. You've got me all worked up. Wow, you're so big. Can I touch it?" The crowd was completely stunned. This video was the first half of the previous one. The other woman was Victoria. Many guests started vomiting up their dinner on the spot, and the hall became a chaotic mess. I picked up a spare microphone and stood up. "This is my engagement gift to you. Do you like it?" Isabel stood frozen, looking from Victoria to Ethan and finally to me. Her eyes were wide, her lips trembling. Are you insane? How could you slander my sister like this?" I sneered. "You're the main culprit here. None of you are getting away with this." Isabel sobbed, shaking her head violently. "My sister was just being nice to her brother-in-law. You're deliberately trying to tear our family apart. What do you want?" Victoria's face was beet red. She pointed a trembling finger at me and screamed, "You cheating scumbag, just a few days ago, I found a used condom in your clothes. To cover up your own affair, you fabricated this video to frame me. You're deranged." She grew more agitated, her voice venomous. "You're a bad luck charm. Our family has had no peace since you arrived, and now you're trying to frame me." I pulled out the DNA report from the lab. The condom you're talking about had your DNA on the outside, and God knows what other man's on the inside. What else do you have to say? Truthfully, the moment I saw Victoria's chat logs and photo album, the DNA report became irrelevant. I had done another test later and learned the real truth. But since she wanted to bring up the used condom, I was happy to oblige. The guests had erupted into a frenzy. Some were already pulling out their phones to live stream the drama. Whoa, this is some next-level drama, a live expose. Is this for real? People are really this wild these days? Quick, film this kind of tea will go viral. Seeing the crowd's reaction, Ethan trembled with rage. He grabbed an ashtray and charged at me, his eyes blazing with fury. Why did you do this to me? Why did you ruin my reputation?
He raised the ashtray high, about to bring it down on my head.
Another wave of gasps went through the crowd. Look out! He's going to attack him in the nick of time! My father's authoritative voice boomed from the doorway. Stop, I'd like to see anyone lay a hand on my only son. As he spoke, a bodyguard from the Walker group rushed in and kicked the ashtray out of Ethan's hand. Before Ethan could react, other bodyguards had already pinned him to the ground. Ethan lay on the floor, groaning in pain. Sincere Harrison Walker strode to my side. Are you hurt anywhere? He was dressed in a sharp suit, his face etched with concern, but he radiated an aura of immense power. Even after all these years, I could still feel the deep care coming from my father. I shook my head, my voice filled with gratitude. Dad, I'm fine. The guests were all stunned. Who is that man? He has such a powerful presence, he looks familiar. I think I've seen him in a business magazine. Victoria apparently didn't recognize him yet. She was still shouting, everyone, look, this scumbag even called in the mafia to assault people. Someone call the police. The murmurs in the crowd continued. Wait, isn't that Harrison Walker, the head of the Walker Group? What? The multi-billionaire Harrison Walker? I took a deep breath and picked up the remote again. Ladies and gentlemen, the show is just getting started. The screen lit up again, this time showing screenshots of Victoria's chats with various men. The lurid content made everyone's eyes widen. Baby, want to come over for dinner tonight? I'm a great cook, my dear sister. That black stocking you wore last time was so sexy. I can't get enough. I can't hold my liquor. I get drunk after just one glass. You better not take advantage of me, big brother. Another wave of gasps rippled through the hall. Damn, look at that list. How many guys are there? This damn Victoria is disgusting, the number of people. I can't even look. Some people covered their eyes, but peeked through their fingers. More people furiously filmed with their phones, afraid to miss a single detail. Isabel's face was ashen. She shook her head frantically. Photoshop, this is all Photoshop then. Trembling, she pointed at me and screamed, you shameless scoundrel, to cover up your own affair. You would do something so despicable. Her eyes were bloodshot, tears welling up. Ever since hearing the crowd's accusations, Ethan had looked like a ghost. He was slumped in a corner, held by the bodyguards, muttering to himself, Impossible. This is impossible. I specifically checked. There was no one around. How could we have been filmed? Victoria's face was ashen. She finally recognized Harrison Walker from years ago and collapsed onto the floor, her eyes vacant. The chat logs continued to scroll on the screen. I turned to Victoria and said calmly, now that you've been caught red-handed, I want a divorce. The hall exploded. That disgusting Victoria is such a two-faced hypocrite. I can't believe she's a town bike. Mr. Walker is incredible. Enduring it all until the engagement party to expose her in public. I bet the younger sister Isabel knew about it. Maybe she intentionally set her fiancé up with her sister, ha ha. Harrison's face had grown terrifyingly dark. Rest assured, I, Harrison Walker, always repay my debts. I will make each of you pay back double. No, it's not like that, Victoria stammered. Sincere, you've misunderstood. None of this is real. She reached out to grab my arm but was blocked by one of the Walker bodyguards. I sneered. Victoria, do you think I'm a child? I've investigated everything thoroughly. Using your network as a starting point, It's clear you'll take anyone who comes along." A cold sweat broke out on Victoria's forehead. You know everything." Every live streaming camera in the room instantly focused on Victoria. Wow. If that's not a sex addiction, I don't know what is. Who has an appetite that big? She looks so decent on the outside, I can't believe how vile she is underneath. Victoria stared at me, her eyes hollow. How did you do all this? Harrison sneered. Your pathetic little background? It took my people half a day to dig up every dirty secret. Isabel's face was livid. She pointed at me and yelled, "Sis, don't let them mess with your head. This scumbag was the one who cheated first. If you divorce him, you can make him leave with nothing and take the house absurd." Even at a time like this, all she could think about was my apartment. Harrison gave a nod, and his assistant handed a file to Victoria. "We have indeed prepared a divorce agreement, but as you are the party at fault, it stipulates that you will leave with nothing." Victoria took the document with trembling hands. She was shaking so violently the paper rustled loudly. "What, leave with nothing?" Her face went white as a sheet, and cold sweat beaded on her forehead. Harrison adjusted his cuffs, speaking nonchalantly. "The houses are all Sincere's premarital assets. Your family can forget about using them as a dowry. Furthermore, the company you and Isabel work for is one of my business partners. I've already had them terminate your employment." Victoria's mind went blank. She staggered back a few steps. She couldn't believe that in a single day she had lost everything: her job, her marriage, her home, and had been publicly humiliated. "Impossible. Sincere still loves me. You can't do this to me." In her desperation, she dropped to her knees with a thud, begging me, "Husband, forgive me. I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I'll change. I promise I'll cut off all contact with those people right now. Just give me one more chance." What a joke, I laughed coldly. "You didn't know you were wrong when you were cheating? You didn't know you were wrong when your family tried to steal my apartment? Now that you're facing the consequences, you finally see the error of your ways. A town bike like you, I wouldn't take you if you were free." Isabel panicked, her face flushing with anger. "Sis, get up, don't kneel to this vicious scumbag. What's so great about him? He's just a rootless lowlife. The worst that can happen is we go back to our old mud brick house." The crowd began to whisper amongst themselves. People raised their phones to film the spectacle of Victoria kneeling on the floor. I can't believe it. A pair of gold-digging sisters. How bizarre. They live in his house, eat his food, and then have the audacity to try and give his property away as a dowry even as their relative. I'd be ashamed. What disgusting animals. I pulled a hospital report from my bag and tossed it into the air, letting the pages flutter to the ground. The room fell silent. "Victoria, you have an ovulation, so who's the one who can't have kids? I also found out all about how you two faked a report saying I was the one who was infertile." Another wave of shock went through the hall. Victoria was stunned. She picked up the report from the floor, her eyes wide as she read every word. The data on the report was crystal clear, her diagnosis written in black and white. Seeing the look on Victoria's face, Isabel knew it was true. Just then, the sound of urgent sirens came from outside. As everyone looked around in confusion, several police officers burst into the hall. It seemed many viewers watching the live stream had taken action. Netizens had even discovered that Victoria had uploaded some of the secret videos online. The clear footage of their faces had driven many of the men who had been with Victoria into a frenzy. An officer walked directly up to Victoria. "Ms. Victoria Blackwood, you've been reported for violating public morals and are suspected of multiple illegal acts." Victoria's face was ashen. I didn't. This is all slander." The officer produced a pair of handcuffs and secured Victoria's hands. "Please cooperate with our investigation." The hall erupted. The live streamers were narrating the events with gusto. "Damn, this is better than a TV show. You couldn't even write a script as crazy. A sister who cheats with hundreds. A sister-in-law who tries to steal the nest." This is definitely going to be a trending topic. As Victoria was escorted out by the police, she cried out, E-boy helped me, but Ethan was in his own world of trouble. How could he possibly help her? Harrison clearly disliked being surrounded by a media circus. He said to me quietly, "Let's go too." With that, Harrison and I walked toward the exit under the gaze of everyone present. Isabel tried to chase after us, but was blocked by Harrison's bodyguards. "Brother-in-law, I was wrong, please. Save my sister." "I know you have the means without looking back," I said. "From this day on, I have nothing more to do with the Blackwood family." "Husband, tell them I'm innocent." Victoria's voice faded into the distance. Walking out of the hotel, I felt an unprecedented sense of relief. I could finally breathe freely again. Harrison smiled at me. "Welcome home. I won't let anyone frame you ever again." We got into the black Maybach and disappeared into the night. That evening, the top trending topics on all major social media platforms were: woman exposed for cheating with hundreds, cheating wife humiliated at engagement party, brain-dead sister-in-law Tristostilthanus. Netizens frantically shared the videos and screenshots from the party. The comment sections were a firestorm of condemnation. "This Victoria is a total pervert, a real piece of work, so disgusting I heard it was hundreds of men. She was no good from the start, what a mess. And to film all those people, so satisfying that sister-in-law got what she deserved, and her fiancé cheating with her own sister is hilarious." Both sisters' social media accounts were overrun by netizens, flooded with insults and ridicule. Even the social media accounts of the men Victoria had secretly filmed were not spared. The next morning, I had 4 or 5 unread messages on my phone, all from Victoria. I glanced at them and couldn't help but laugh out loud. "Husband, I used the Walker family name to get a chance to use my phone. I have no other options. Everything that happened yesterday was a huge misunderstanding. I was drunk that one time, and after that I was possessed. You have to believe me, I never, ever wanted to betray our marriage. I've already cut ties with all of them. I promise I will never contact them again for the rest of my life for the sake of our marriage. Please help me. I'm locked up and I don't know what to do. I know your family has ways to fix this. Sincere. I know you can see this. Please come, I'm begging you. You can even yell at me, I don't care." Reading these pathetic pleas only made me feel disgusted. I didn't bother replying and simply blocked her number. Around noon, my phone buzzed with a news alert. A special discussion forum about the Victoria Blackwood scandal was trending, its popularity soaring. Worse, as netizens dug deeper, they unearthed another bombshell. Not only was Victoria's behavior perverse, but she also had a sexually transmitted disease. She had already knowingly transmitted it to a great number of her sexual partners. The comment section exploded. "Damn this beastly woman, she's sick and still out there harming people. A true menace to society. Disgusting, so fucking disgusting. The death penalty would be too good for her. Those guys she was with are already socially dead, and now they find out she gave them a disease. What a tragedy. Unbelievable, all those men." What was she thinking? Reading these reports, a chill ran down my spine. Luckily, Victoria had even fooled herself, truly believing I was infertile and therefore losing all interest in me. Otherwise, a few days later, the verdict for my divorce from Victoria came down. The court ruled that Victoria's actions had caused significant harm. In addition to leaving with nothing, she was ordered to pay me damages for emotional distress. All assets under our names were awarded to me. The moment I received the verdict, I went with Walker Group bodyguards and a team of legal experts to enforce the judgment. When we arrived at the apartment that was rightfully mine, we found Isabel was still shamelessly living there. Ethan was also there, apparently negotiating something with her. When the door opened, Isabel's eyes lit up with hope at the sight of me. She excitedly tried to grab my hand. "Brother-in-law, you finally came to help. My sister told me to wait for you here, that you wouldn't abandon her. She was right." I took a cold step back. A legal officer read out the enforcement order. "In accordance with the court's verdict, you are ordered to vacate these premises immediately." Isabel froze, staring at me blankly. Then her face turned deathly pale, and she pointed at me, screaming hysterically, "Impossible, this is my home, it's all your fault. You ruined our engagement party, you got my sister locked up, and now you're trying to kick me out, what a joke." I looked at her contorted face. "You brought this on yourselves. Who else is there to blame?" Ethan yelled angrily at Isabel. "Stop your pointless whining, give me back the betrothal gifts. This wedding is off. If you hadn't been pining after my sister, we wouldn't be in this mess bullshit. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been seduced by your sister, and my life wouldn't have been so completely ruined. Just talking about it makes me want to hit you." His voice trembled, his face red with rage. Ha! Just like family, blaming each other for their own mistakes. Hearing Ethan shift all the blame onto her, Isabel clenched her fists and shouted, "You were the one begging me to set the engagement party date, and you were the one who wanted my sister to give us the apartment now that things have gone wrong. You blame me? Ethan Thompson, are you even a man?" Their argument grew more intense, their voices louder. Humiliated and enraged, Ethan raised his hand and slapped Isabel across the face twice. "Shut up," Isabel was stunned into silence. Just then, the enforcement officers began to forcibly clear out the apartment. They carried out Victoria's and Isabel's belongings, piece by piece. Isabel completely lost control. She rushed into the kitchen, grabbed a sharp fruit knife, and began swinging it wildly. "Don't come any closer, all of you. Get out. This is my house. I have the deed seeing this," Ethan yelled. "Isabel, are you crazy? Put the knife down if you want to die. That's your business. It has nothing to do with me. Just give me back my money, and I'll leave." But Isabel was beyond reason. Her eyes were red as she pointed the knife at me, screeching, "It's all your fault, you worthless man. You're the one who ruined my life. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you," she muttered, then lunged at me with the knife. The bodyguards quickly formed a shield in front of me. Ethan was closest to Isabel. A vein throbbed in his forehead. "I'm talking to you. Didn't you hear me? Stop waving that stupid knife around." He reached out and grabbed Isabel, and the two of them became entangled in a struggle. "Wake up, you bitch. Don't make me hit you. I have to kill him. Kill that bastard. He took everything from me. I told you to give me back my money." "My money? Do you hear me?" Ethan yelled, striking Isabel as they struggled. With a sickening squelch, in the chaos, the sharp fruit knife plunged into Ethan's chest. Blood instantly stained his white shirt. Isabel stared in horror, the knife falling from her hand to the floor with a clatter. Ethan, why did you keep getting in my way? I was trying to stab that bastard." Her voice trembled. Ethan looked down at the blood pouring from his chest, his eyes filled with disbelief. He staggered, trying to say something, but only garbled sounds came out. Bubbles of blood frothed at his lips. Soon, an ambulance and the police arrived, but it was too late. Ethan had lost too much blood. After a quick examination, a paramedic shook his head. It hit a vital organ. There are no signs of life. Isabel was immediately taken into custody by the police. A few months later, Harrison told me the final verdicts. Isabel was sentenced to 20 years for intentional homicide. Victoria, for maliciously spreading a disease and violating public decency, received a severe sentence of 30 years. Hearing the news, I felt nothing. Sometimes I felt lucky that I had found that used condom. That discovery was what allowed me to start a new life. A few more months passed, and Harrison officially announced me as the heir to the Walker Group. I stood on the top floor of the group's skyscraper, looking out over the entire city. A long-lost smile spread across my face.